Just start the YouTube stuff now. So this is after about 5 hours of playing Overwatch 2 currently today. The new hero, Junkrat Queen, really good. I think she's a really good hero, and while it is quick play, and not saying I'm going up against the best people, she seems very balanced, but quite fun and interesting to play. She definitely has ways to show that, she's skillful, but at the same time having abilities to make her accessible, let's say. It doesn't feel like bullshit when Doom first came out, or Echo first came out, or any other hero came out. Like, they did a really good job on this one. So let's go through the patch notes. Yeah. Let's see here. Ping system. I said this before, but when talking about the ping system, the Eevee, I was like, oh yeah, Junkrat, I can't ping through walls, so I can't ping my trap if someone's ever trapped, and she held that to the devs, so this little thing right here, maybe because of me. But other than that, nothing about the ping things right now do I feel is that worthy of noting. The scoreboard is kind of neat. We don't really get to see the statistics like historical right now in the beta, but it just shows some values that are interesting. And for Junkrat, like, the most interesting one is direct hit rate and then hit rate. So essentially you get to see how much damage you're dealing. Maybe not how much damage you're dealing, but what's your accuracy with direct hits and indirect hits. I think it's a neat thing. I don't think it tells you anything. Like, everyone's like, oh, we need more data to get better. I think that data doesn't tell you shit. But it's cool to see. Sound cool. Yep. Maps. We got Ilios. We got Busan. We got Junkertown. We got Hollywood now. I went through all the maps, and I will say there wasn't that... When I thought they got rid of all the hit scan maps to, like, really patch them and fix them, don't get me wrong, they look great in Overwatch 2, but there was very little balance done. Again, they added boxes in a couple of places, and that's it. Junkertown, still going to be hit scan dominant. Gibraltar Point, Gibraltar Point 2, still going to be crazy. Very little has changed. I was hoping for big changes, but that did not happen. Not much to talk about here. Heroes. Here's some of the balance. So support role passive. Time to activate healing increased from 1 to 1.5. Cool. Damage passive. Swapping to other heroes. Now you maintain 30% of your alt charge. And the movement speed has been removed. Heroes have the movement speed adjusted due to role passive and returned to their original values. Cool. This passive's really boring to me. One, it's not like an active. It's not going on the whole time. In fact, it's the only thing in the game that's active when you're dead. Right? It's pretty boring, and I think the whole point of this passive is, one, to give supports a break this Overwatch beta cycle. Basically, they're going to be like, hey, how do supports feel about living their life when, DPS heroes don't have a speed boost? Do they feel better? Or are they getting harassed less? Etc., etc., etc. So, I think I don't think this will stick because it's a really boring and lame passive, but I think it's good to test out for this beta cycle just for the sake of supports, because supports is a pretty important part of the game. Mainly, the reason why I don't like this is not only is it, not active, but it goes back to the old Overwatch issue, what I've talked about for 6 years now, which is countering is bad. We don't want answers. Stop giving us fucking answers. Just give us heroes that we can get good with, and the hero's going to deal with all the other heroes. You can easily balance it for that. They choose not to. A good example of this is Tracer. If no one watches Overwatch League, Tracer's still picked constantly, even with her damage nerf. Which goes to show you, if you didn't have a McCree or a whole bunch of stuns in Overwatch 2, she was just absolutely overpowered. Why do they do this? Because they're like, oh, if they got a tracer, you have to swap. Which is stupid. No one wants to be told to do shit in this game. They want to be able to play the game that we want to. So that's my big worry about this. But then when I look at it from a support point of view, I'm like, all right, it makes more sense thinking they just want to help supports out. Tank's got some adjustments, mostly to the health pools. Reinhardt's down 25 hit points overall, so his armor is reduced by 50, but health increased by 25. Winston, his shield reduced by health reduced by 100. I believe both of these things in the ultimate cost increase. These were changes in the first beta, and they kind of reverted them. Diva gets a little bit of help, 100 more armor, 100 less health, so her overall numbers stay the same, just more armor. Doomfist gets nerfed. Seismic Slam no longer slows, and Jeff Goodman specifically stated, he's like, there was some ridiculous shit you could do. If you slammed and immediately ulted, no one can get away. It was an insta-kill. Power Block, damage reduction from 90 to 80%. I don't get this one. He's probably going to take, like, literally 30 to 50 extra damage, which isn't a lot. I don't see it making a big difference, especially if he's getting healed. It's not going to make any difference at all. If this went down to 60%, now we're talking. Because the big thing with this is it stops burst damage because you can't headshot him when he's doing it. Now the big change with Orisa. Orisa got a major overhaul, and she's a bit of a monster up close. I don't think I played against her once tonight, because everyone's having fun with Jungle Queen. But her damage is increased by 20%. Her projectile size no longer scales with distance, but projectile size is always 0.1, so it's the same size as Torb's gunshot. But as we see here, her crit, I didn't even know this, but her crit bonus damage was increased to double, which is normal, so before it was only 50%. It's so weird that they leave important details like this out. Like, no, they didn't tell anyone this on the first one. Which is crazy. Her fall off has been reduced 70 to 50%. So they butchered these numbers just to make her really effective, or more effective at range. And they're basically undoing all of that. And maximum fall off range reduced from 15 to 35, so down to 15 to 25. So fall off happens 10 meters sooner. The whole point of this is now she has that tankiness concept of, oh, you're close range with me, you're gonna get fucked. She does a lot of damage with headshots. Like, she is instantly killing heroes. It's immensely quick. I want to see what skilled Orisas are like right now, because they're going to be terrifying. If you're within 5 meters of an Orisa and you can't hide behind cover, I think you lose. I don't think there's a way to fight her. Fortify, the movement speed penalty has been removed. Headshot immunity has been removed. I think it's fine, but it was cool as a Junkrat that you didn't get affected by the headshot immunity. Didn't really bother you. So you're one of the heroes that could actually kind of fight her for a little bit better efficiency. Javelin spin reduced cooldown, but the speed has been reduced significantly. But the knockback, I don't want to say this is Lucio boop level, but this is pretty strong boops. It's good. It seems now it's more about surviving rather than, and like environmental kills where there's an opportunity, but for the most part it's about surviving and pushing forward and negating damage. Javelin damage has been reduced because also cooldown increased to 8. If you get javelined into a wall, you're dead. I will just say this, any DPS hero is instantly dead from Javelin and her new fusion driver. There's not much you can do about it. If this hits you, I think it takes like a half a second for her to kill you after that. Terra Surge, max damage increased up to 500. Okay, it just means you can channel this for longer. It's okay. It's quick play, but I've seen some people get some kills with it. Overall, not really. I'll have to see how this works. It's very opportunistic, and I'm curious how well it's going to work with skilled players. I have no problems with this getting buffed because it is kind of weak. As for the damage changes, Bastion, cooldown reduced to 8 seconds. Sure, not bad. It's not like he's overpowered or anything, and honestly, the ability is okay. It's neat. It's nothing crazy. It's really bland, if you ask me, but 8 seconds is fine. Cassidy, the roll now grants 50% damage reduction for its 0.4 second duration. We've talked about this. I guarantee, and I would put money on it, that Blizzard noticed Cassidy players were not as aggressive on the flanks anymore. Because in Overwatch 1, you can roll in and stun and then get a kill. So you can be really aggressive on the flanks because you can close the distance and stun. Well, with stun removed, this entire idea is gone. Right? So the entire idea of being aggressive on the flanks with Cassidy is gone. You really can't be that aggressive with just Sticky Bomb. And so they probably wanted to change Cassidy, obviously, to get rid of the stun, but they don't want to change his playstyle that much. And this little change basically allows him to get shot once or twice to close the distance and maybe survive. And then, get a grenade off and then get a kill. I really like it because it's a very moderate approach. He still gets... He's not going to go through like a choke point where 5 people are shooting. Like, this is very specific to 1 or 2 people. He rolls in, gets a kill, maybe, and then maybe survives. Like, it's very wishy-washy, which is good, which means it's, it's very situational. It could be good, could be bad. I actually really like this change. As for Junkrat, Steel Trap fully locked moving again. Projectile speed increased. It's actually increased a bit. It's not like it was in Overwatch 1 beta where they said it was increased to 12 and it just went like half a meter farther. This goes a good 50% farther. This has actually been the most noticeable change to Junkrat today. It's pretty insane. It makes it really viable during combat. You can be really sneaky and throw this at the supports when you're behind enemy lines, and you can basically get them stuck, and then you can kill them. It's almost an ability. I think if the cooldown went to 8 seconds, I'd consider it as good as other abilities. If it's at 10, I think it should activate on contact with heroes. It's still weak for a 10-second ability, and it's still weak as an ability overall. Frag Launcher. Projectile size increased from 0.2 to 0.25. So those of you that have been around for a long time, Junkrat's original projectile size was 0.3 and they nerfed it to 0.2. 0.25 is actually pretty decent. I can't say I felt it a lot, but I did hit a bunch of air shots today, so I'm like, okay, I think this is what's helping me hit air shots a lot more. So I felt this a little bit, but I definitely felt the Steel Trap buff more. The other thing as well is Steel Trap, get this, does 100 damage. In total Blizzard fashion, they couldn't increase the damage to 100 on the old patch. We kept on asking them, hey, it's 80 damage still, you said it should be 100. And they're like, yeah, whatever. Never did it. Overwatch 2 beta comes around, they said, yeah, Steel Trap's been reverted to 100 damage. So, whatever. I'm going to tweet it just so I'm not looking to keep things hidden. If they want to nerf it. Just if they want to buff it. Like that's I want to make sure their intentions are known and clear. Pharah reload starts at 0.25 seconds sooner. Sure, that increases your DPS a little bit, but it could just be, I think everyone was doing animation glitches to get around this, and they did this. They probably fixed the animation glitch and they just added this. Neither of these, their quality of life, I have no issues with either of these. Now Sim got changed a little bit. I'm not happy with what she's at, but this is in a step in the right direction. She gets 100 ammo now, and no longer gets ammo when damaging barriers. My issue is that her primary fire still blows. It takes too long to charge up in this game. There's no shields to charge it up on. I think either they need to make it very fast for her to charge up, or just get rid of the charge up mechanic and give her 135 DPS constantly, or 140. You know, it's just buff the damage to be constant. I think her primary fire kind of sucks. Her secondary fire is pretty good right now, so it's been twice as fast. Damage has been reduced to 90. Projectile size reduced from 0.5 to 0.4. This makes it tied for the largest projectile size in the game, and it's tied with wait, is it tied? No, it's the largest. I was gonna say, because Mercy and Diva's gun, I believe, is 0.36. It's not 0.4. Oh, rock. I don't consider rock. It's bullshit. Ammo cost increased from 7 to 10. Sure. I mean, it kind of went linear with the max ammo. But this is actually big. The charge time has been increased by 20%. Her secondary fire, I played her a couple times tonight. It feels a lot better. You can be more accurate with it. You're more responsible for the damage you're dealing. I've actually swapped mouse 1 and mouse 2 around, so now that can be a bit more accurate and a bit easier time firing it. Overall, it's a good change. I think her secondary fire going in this direction is great. The one thing I don't know about is the 1.2 second charge time. If we look at other things charge time, Widow, Hanzo, these heroes have basically hit scans that deal 120 to 300 damage. Hanzo's, what, 250? For a 1.2 second cooldown. I don't get why this is so extreme. I don't know if they're trying to stop people from spamming. If that's what they want, just stop it from charging. Just press the button and it shoots it, and then you only can do it every second. So just kind of get rid of this charge mechanic so you can't just spam little shots everywhere. I really don't understand why they're increasing the charge time on something this weak. Teleporter? Basically, Sim's whole thing is that she's quicker now. So build time reduced from 2 to 1 seconds. Maximum lifetime of 10 seconds. Cooldown is 16 seconds. Cooldown starts when teleporter is placed, which is really good, and health has been reduced. So teleporter gets up a little bit faster, as is the nature of Overwatch. Overwatch 2, and actually Overwatch 1 is also quite quick. So this is just to help her kind of maintain it. I would like teleporter just to be an actual blink for Symmetra. Also, I think they reduced the distance you can teleport. I want to say it went from like 30 to 22 meters. I forget where I saw that, but it's not here, but I think it's like on the actual Overwatch PTR notes. I want Sim just to actually teleport when she first uses it, like instantly. I also want teleporter to A, initialize shield regen, and B, cleanse. I think that'd be a really unique thing for support, or not a support, for a DPS to have. And it would give more utility to her teleporter and kind of put her into this, maybe it's like a callback to when she was in her support days, but start moving a DPS hero to slightly more supportish. As the game moves on and on and on, we should have supports that are like DPS, we have supports that are like tanks, we should have tanks that are like supports and tanks that are like DPS. You know, stuff like that. Mix and match them, blur the lines a little bit. I think Sim would be a good candidate for blurring the lines between DPS and support. Turrets, they move faster, and they slow a little bit less. I don't know why you would nerf the turret, to be completely honest. I think turrets should set up fast. I think they should still slow by 20%. I would actually up that to 25%. Turrets are really easy to get, and if you don't want to do anything else, reduce the cooldown of turrets by 2 seconds so that you can constantly put a couple of them up. They're getting so bad that, like, her kit needs to be buffed significantly because turrets are just kind of a side thing that don't do much. Torb, he gets a buff. We talked about this. About 8% increased attack speed on his primary and 12% on his secondary. Cool. Torb's underpowered, so that's great. Discord from 3 to 2, great. I would actually like this to be 1. I would love it if Zen was forced to stay out in the open more and be more vulnerable. I think he's just a little bit too good at this point with Discord. Discord is phenomenal. It gives vision. I don't think it should give vision. I don't know. I want there to be more of a risk when he's using such a powerful ability. Mercy, people are just freaking out a fucking again, even though everyone knew this was coming. So Guardian Angel, it's no longer canceled for like your infinite flight. Basically, it automatically launches you upward once you reach it. So you go, and as soon as you reach your target, you go up. I heard there's some complaints that now people have accidentally super jumped when trying to res because they float, they start the res, and as the float slows down and gets closer, boom. People will get around it. There's going to be a little bit of a skill difference, or skill learning curve, I should say. And I get why they did this. Everyone says, oh yeah, for accessibility, but for me it's more about balance. If everyone has to do super jump, how do you balance around? If it's a hidden tech, then you can't balance around. And if you do start doing that, then, well, what do you take away? Do you nerf them? And then people that have no idea about this tech, they're just playing with a worse hero. You kind of have to put it in the game, make it ingrained, and then you can start balancing the hero around it. I know everyone's talking about accessibility, yada, yada, yada. I get that, but for me, it's more about a balance concern. And if I don't have something concrete that I can't balance around, then that makes things challenging. They also kind of buffed it, if you will. Angelic Descent now slows ascent speed as well as descent speed. So like they say with Junkrat's Concussive Mine, you basically get slowed down so you don't get booped as hard. It can also reduce the amount of height you get with GA. So, it's interesting. A bunch of bug fixes. Nothing crazy. But overall, after playing Overwatch 2 today for 5 hours, I will say this. Junkrat feels good. I'll be playing some pugs in the future. Start playing against some better players and see how Junkrat starts to feel against, competitive and competent players. Right now, he feels almost viable against Hitscan. If they give him one more buff to help him deal with long-range heroes, he will be on equal terms, I would say. So if they gave him 25 or 50 hit points, that's armor. Or if they gave him something else. I don't know, there's a lot of things that could happen, but it's going in the right direction. He's in a decent spot right now. So yeah, that's it. I will say this, I've enjoyed it. All the heroes seem fun, it's interesting, it's all good stuff. So that'll be it for the video. Chro, and the YouTube video.